Hey everybody, we are on screen, off screen, back with a wonderful episode. We've got Lauren, who's in her chicken gathering outfit and looking fantastic. And then we got Josh, who honestly has just built the coolest background ever. I love it and I'm crazy jealous. It's very, very cool. Genuinely. We're gonna start our episode off right, and I think I definitely have the most topics. I'm gonna go through mine first. It's how to sell a haunted house. This is a audiobook that is getting turned into a movie, and I'm actually pretty excited about it. I don't know. I know Josh likes Annabelle. Are you? What do you think about dolls, Lauren? Like the creepy doll thing? Just like
I hate it.
absolute no go.
I
Okay,
hate it.
don't read this book
Kind of.
um, at all. Just don't do it. They're I'm not super into the creepy doll thing. It's never been my vibe. I do like Annabelle. I like one of the Chucky movies, but that's kind of it. It's not something I usually love. This one is really good. The basic premise of it is both parents die, and the main character is the daughter. She comes back to her hometown. Her and her brother do not get along at all. They kind of hate each other. They haven't talked in years. They have to figure out what to do with this house. They have to figure out how to clean out all the old stuff, deal with all the memories, get the house sold, and deal with the legal ramifications of the will that their parents left. As they're cleaning up the house, dolls will just start popping up in places. And the mom was really into puppets. So she would have puppets and she'd have dolls all over the place. And really, it's a creepy puppet, is more what it is. Um, and different puppets will just pop up and pop up and pop up. And it's unsettling. They do a good job of making it feel creepy and building the tension slowly throughout the movie. The audiobook is excellent. And when you get to figure out who the main bad puppet is named Pumpkin, and she does a voice for Pumpkin, and it's very creepy. Like she did a great job, genuinely a great job. I think that in the realm of horror video games are the best way to experience horror because you are part of it, you're in it, and it's the creepiest. Then you've got movies, and a lot of times I enjoy the books for the ideas, but they don't creep me out. This one had a few moments where I was like, that is chilling. Very good job. I was very impressed. I can see why they're making it a movie. Um, as you're going through the story, you're dealing with family trauma because this puppet has been involved in their lives for a very long time, and it's been influencing each one of them quietly and slowly in the background, and it's changed the way that they acted and pulled everybody apart. So you get to see how our main character sees events that happened in a very different way than her brother, and it caused them to drift apart. And you get to see it from both points of view. About a third of the way through the book, it shifts to the brother's point of view, and you get to you've been with the sister the entire time. You're like, oh, that brother's a piece of crap. He's a complete douchebag. He has like you're thinking the exact things that the sister is thinking, and then the brother, you understand his point of view, and it makes you want to bring the family together. It makes you care about the characters, and they did a really good job with that. The if you I wrote down this, but if you like creepy kids or doll movies, you'll like this. The doll is a possessed child. Like that's what it is. Spoiler, but that's what it is. If you like family trauma and exploring the responses, you'll like this. If you like family dynamics and figuring out how to find peace with all that trauma, you'll like this. If you like horror, you'll like this. If you like good character voice, like the brother and sister are very distinct, you will like this. If you like a bit of mystery, like how did this all come together? Why haven't they figured this out? You will enjoy this. It is a worthwhile read if you are into this aspect of horror. It's worth your time. I
It
won't get into
sounds
a lot more spoilers. Go ahead.
sounds interesting, but like I'm like I can't do creepy kids or dolls or anything. Like I've been around my friends' kids, and like I don't find them scary. But then sometimes late at night, if I'm like sleeping at my grandparents and my nieces are over, they come over and like about punt the child across the room because it freaks me out.
Do
They're
either
like,
of you
"Oh, it's
care?
fine."
if I spoil something in this at all. Who
Go ahead.
cares? Okay, so our main character, she has a daughter the entire time, and she's trying to connect with the daughter. She can't. She can't remember things from her past because Pumpkin was her favorite toy, and she would carry it on her hand all the time. And Pumpkin would speak to her and make her forget things and make her do horrible things.
Creepy.
And at the end of the book, she destroys Pumpkin, and she flies back home to California. And her daughter has made her own version of Pumpkin, and Pumpkin is on her hand. And they have to figure out how to get Pumpkin off of her hand. But Pumpkin is completely taken over her daughter, and it is great, absolutely great.
That's a horror that I would hate to have in my
Yeah,
life.
I
Ugh.
should I should have expected it. Like that is a you should expect that to happen. I
Hmm.
didn't. When she had her own version of Pumpkin, I was like, damn, the thing can be on what? What? You burned
Mm.
it. It was gone. It was crazy. It was crazy.
Mm.
I really, really, I enjoyed this book a lot. It's not one that I'm gonna reread. Like it's a 7 for me, but it was a very enjoyable 7.
It sounds interesting. I won't read it because I know I won't sleep, but it does sound interesting
Yeah.
and well done.
Anyway, it's a good book. You guys should give it a shot if you're into that kind of thing. With that, let's go to a show that apparently Josh just is hating on things this week. What do we got, Josh?
So I watched Malcolm in the Middle, and this has been a multi-week kind of thing for me. Um, the reunion show is coming out, and Conlon has been talking a little bit about it. And
Yeah.
I have a little bit of history with the show. In like, I was not allowed to watch a lot of shows growing up. I wasn't allowed to watch SpongeBob or Family Guy or The Simpsons or Malcolm in the Middle or any of those kinds of shows. And so I would. This was the show that was on during the times that I could get away with watching stuff without my parents necessarily knowing about it. So I would watch this all the time. And it was more watching it out of curiosity and rebellion against my parents than it was genuinely watching the show. Anytime I've been able to watch the show without a parent overseer and whatever, when I've genuinely watched the show, I've never really liked it. I liked it more when I was rebellious with the boys who are famous for being rebellious. But when I've watched the show just to watch the show, I've always been like, there's no plot. Literally nothing happens. This is literally just Lois says don't do that. Boys do that, and something Anik says. Boys get in trouble. Yelling happens, and show over. And I just
It's not.
go ahead.
It's just not fun if it's not
Yeah,
forbidden.
and it's like I don't really understood where this show got its big following from because there are a couple of elements that I think are genuinely really good about the show, but I don't think they're common enough occurrences that it would have this big mass appeal that the show does have. Um, so Conla's been, like I said, Conla's been talking about the reunion show and having liked the old show. So I watched every single episode. I really wanted to give it a fair shot and be like, well, maybe next season's better. Maybe something else is going to happen, you know? And so I really just wanted to make sure I saw absolutely everything in the order that it came out and, give it a truly fair shot. And this show absolutely sucks. It's not like the worst show in the world. It is a perfectly fine background show where if you want to laugh once every like 10 episodes, you might get a little chuckle and a pretty good laugh like once a season maybe. Um, but it's just not very good. They do every single character terribly. The oldest brother Francis, his arc is military school, run away to Alaska, leave Alaska, work at the ranch. And that arc is the only arc that shows any kind of progression, right? He's bitter about military school. He goes to Alaska. His military school training actually teaches him how to work hard and sit through the crap and like grow as a person. And he gets married and he gets more responsible. And then he goes to the ranch and he starts doing well at the ranch because he had this growth. And then he just shows back up and is like, "Oh, I left the ranch because no reason really, and now I'm growing out a mullet and piercing my ears and wearing the ugliest goatee thing I've ever seen, and I'm back to being rebellious just because that's what the show deserves. Nobody's allowed to grow or change. Everybody has to be dysfunctional in this show." Every other time there's any kind of growth, that was the longest lasting one, and I think it's just because he's not in every single episode. He's like there sometimes and not. And it's very frustrating, especially with Francis, that they just take away any kind of growth for no reason, you know? Um, so, as an overarching show, every character is the same as it is at the end, as it is at the beginning. No changes whatsoever. They get older. Most people get wiser as they're older. Most people learn things and they grow and they change. Nobody in this show. They're all exactly the same. Um, and it's annoying to me. Um, the thing that I think this does the best, and that I think that is just too rare to have this mass appeal, is our main character Malcolm is an excellent representation of somebody going through high school with anxiety, like an extreme amount of anxiety. I think a lot of people experience anxiety, but like he would get diagnosed and treated with anxiety because of how much he thinks things through and worries about the worst and always complains and does. I think that is really well done. But that's it.
I've never seen Malcolm in the Middle, but I've seen like little bits on like TikTok and stuff. And there is this one scene that I really liked where like somebody is making fun of their mom, and so all the boys like rally
Yeah.
against these people for their mom. And I was like, "Oh."
In clips is the best way to enjoy that show for sure. Because most of
Mm.
that show is like kind of just dumb and pointless. But that is an excellent segue. Like it's a show about an extremely dysfunctional family. And the most fascinating thing about watching the show is those moments that I see higher function than my family had. So you have that episode that you were just talking about where Lois, the mom, feels like nobody actually cares or pays attention to her. And so it's her birthday and nobody says anything or planned anything or whatever. And then the boys and the dad are trying to just make up for it in whatever way they can, but it's not really coming together. So Lois runs away. They go to Lois. A clown insults her by saying she has a big butt. And then the boys defend mom, right? Um, there's another episode where um, Dewey, the youngest boy, is trying to figure out why mom and dad stay together. And in this episode, they're always fighting. But you also see at the end of the episode, they show the parents making up. So you see something that I think is an extremely healthy behavior, parents disagreeing, parents working through it, and you see parents resolving it and coming together. You get to see that whole process from the kid's point of view. And it's not like hidden. There's no like, well, we're just going to figure this out behind closed doors or whatever, which was my family's policy. So that part of me was like, that's kind of sad. Now, would I rather have my family or their family? My family 100%. There was a couple of moments, but overall, absolute insanity over there. So, um,
So would you have regret watching all of Malcolm in the Middle?
do I regret it? No. Would I recommend this show to anybody who breathes or communicates effectively? No. Um, like, it's a fine background show. I did a lot of it while playing Slay the Spire or something else on my computer. And, like, if you want a background show and for some reason you don't like Parks and Recreation, The Office, Friends, How I Met Your Mother, Psych, House MD, Bones, NCIS, 911, 911 Tennessee, 911 Nashville, uh, Monk,
Monk, Gilligan's
Gilligan's
Island.
Island, Happy Days,
Mash.
MASH. If you just don't like those shows, this is a perfectly fine background show to put in the rotation. But I probably won't rewatch it. I do have a little bit of morbid curiosity about the reunion show, for no other reason than I do like the actor who plays Malcolm. He's like living my best life. He played Agent Cody Banks. Now he races cars. He owns a team.
Yeah.
Like, that sounds pretty freaking sweet to me.
He's a child star that like honestly seems pretty down to earth and chill
Yeah.
still, which is crazy. Yeah. I do like the show, but I haven't seen it in a really long time. The things that I liked about it were I felt relatability to a lot of the characters, even though it's so psychotic, which is maybe weird and something crazy about me. I think there's very few shows that show male brotherhood in a way that feels authentic at all. Like Young Sheldon has the two brothers, but they don't really feel super brothery to me. It's one of my critiques about the
Well,
show.
because
And this
they're the
show,
exception. Like, they're not supposed to be super brothery.
but I don't think they do that very well in a lot of shows. I think it's an extremely rare thing, extremely rare. And this show actually pulls that off, which is just not common. Like I can't think of very many shows that actually do that. Um, if there's some authenticity there, there's like one of my favorite episodes is the one where they're at the campground and they literally build a raft. They'll do anything to get across this water to just go go hang out with the girls. And when I was 15, that was so freaking relatable for me. I love that episode. It's literally still one of my favorite episodes of TV ever made. Like I genuinely think it's hilarious. And it's one of that I've rewatched over and over again because I find it so funny. And there's a lot of moments like that that I don't think you find in very many other shows. You don't find it in a Modern Family. You don't find it in a what's another really good one with the family like that. I don't know why Modern Family's the only one that popped in my head.
The middle?
The middle. That's the one I was thinking of.
I like
I the middle's also kind of different to me. It's got a uniqueness, and I understand why it has a cult following because of that uniqueness that people can grab onto. And you have the moments where the family is weirdly functional, and that dichotomy is very interesting to watch. And it never feels, to me, it never feels like poisonous, like I'm ingesting something nasty, even when they're at their most dysfunctional. I'm watching something that's entertaining that has a lot of heart because of the dysfunctional nature. You have that dichotomy to make something that's enjoyable and grips you. Do I think it's the greatest show of all time? No, I don't. Do I have a couple episodes of that show that I absolutely love? Yes, for sure.
Okay, so that is a totally fair argument. There are a couple of episodes that are really good. In the 8 seasons it ran, there are a couple of episodes that are genuinely really good. As for the Brotherhood thing, I think that is also a really good argument. However, my argument against it is they are like brothers if all the brothers are in middle school. But the problem with the show is
That's
it
a fair
moves
argument.
on past middle school for half the show, but they still act like middle school brothers. There's no maturing, there's
They
no
don't actually
changing, there's no
develop.
developing, right? And that's my original big complaint about the show. Nobody develops. And it's really frustrating to see that through all of this struggle that these boys are going through all this loud, obnoxious rebelliousness, they never seem to learn anything. Um, But it is a good argument. That is fair.
That's
I
fair
did not think
criticism.
about that. It does feel very brotherly, um, genuine, especially middle school brothers. um,
And I think for me, I've had two brothers pass away, and I don't I think that I wanted a little bit of that, and it drew me to
that's
the
fair.
show some,
Totally
to
fair.
be completely honest. But yeah, that's I think your arguments are solid too. It would have been a better show if they developed some more. Like even Malcolm is the same person at the very end of
Yeah.
the show that he is at the beginning. That's 100% true. I don't even remember how Dewey ends the show. Like I can't. I was thinking about it because I knew you were going to talk about this point, and I do not remember how he ends the show. I remember nothing about the end of
He's the
Dewey.
same as he
Zero.
was before. The show literally ends with him now being the oldest brother because Lois got pregnant again.
Oh yeah,
That's
I
how
literally
it
forgot
ends.
that there was another brother. Like 100%. I haven't seen the show in a long time. But yeah, what was your rating? Did you give one?
I'm going to give it like a 4.5 to a 5.5. I'm going to give it a
Okay.
range because A, I'm just talking about 8 seasons of content. B, I
Mhm.
really genuinely can't decide if it's better or worse than mediocre because there are good things
Okay.
about it, right? Like I see good things in the show. I just don't see the mass appeal that it also had, right? That's where I was at with it. So I'm giving a range 4.5 to 5.5. It's fine. It doesn't actually really suck.
That's fair.
It's just fine.
Fine. Okay, that's fair. All right, let's go to my next one, which I hope you guys have seen because I wanted to talk to you about it. But the Harry Potter teaser, did you guys watch it?
I didn't know it was out.
Dang. Okay. It is the best example of the power of music that I have ever seen in my entire life. Because all of the Harry Potter stuff is there, and people are talking about how it's too similar, and that's the issue. And I don't think that's the issue because it looks beautiful. Like they definitely worked on the sets. It is kind of weird to see a black Severus. Like it's weird. I don't know why they chose that. But all of the people are there. You recognize who the people are. There's nobody that's wrong. But because you're missing the John Williams score, it doesn't feel like Harry Potter. And it makes it feel more like a fan made thing than an actual studio production. And you're watching the greatest, most high budget fan made thing of all time, but it's missing the music and it's missing the soul of Harry Potter. For people who have watched it, it's crazy. Like it's just we've never gotten an experience like this before, where you've had two crazy high budget things, and really the big difference is the music. It's not the actors. People say the actors. It's the music, and you guys should watch it because it's interesting. I found it very interesting. That was a short little topic. Let's go to Lauren's next.
Okay, so this week, well, this couple of weeks, I've been taking care of my grandpa, and so it's funny because my mom's like, "You have to walk him every day." I'm like, "What?" And it's like, so I just have to do a watch him on a treadmill. And so I just have to make sure nothing goes wrong. So I've been reading this book while he walks. So I haven't finished it because I only get like 15 minutes of reading this book. But the first the first chapter is called Irresistible Bastard Meets Immovable Bitch.
All right. That's a good chapter.
It's so funny because these two characters are funny in their own way. This one is like this murderer, uh, assassin for hire, and that's like his clan. They all do that, and they have like this sort of magic system that I'm still trying to figure out. Um, and then she is this healer that it's another clan, and they're opposed to the assassins for reasons that you can guess. And uh, he's dying because his magic is somehow blocked, and so
Okay.
he's trying to find somebody that can heal him. And the main girl, of course, is the only person that people suggest can heal him, but the way he goes about this is like he has his assistant, and the assistant, he's like, how do you think it's best to approach her? Like, should I try to seduce her? Should I try to bribe her? Should I try, does she have family I can extort and stuff? And the the assistant's like, oh yeah, all excellent points, sir. I think she does have some like family stuff. It's just like this funny way of like talking that he's just like very casual about like, oh yeah, this is what we do every day, like whatever, this is how we deal with stuff. And then he sneaks into her office to like, first he tries flirting with her and she like that doesn't go, so then uh he tries bribery and she's like, yeah, no, I don't deal with people like you. And then he's like, all right. And there's like this bag of onions that she had in her office, and so he like empties out the onions and he's like, get in the sack, we're doing kidnapping. She's like, no. And this other girl comes in and they start talking like he's not even there. Like they're not even bothered that there's this assassin that made it into her office. And the one lady's like, why didn't you accept the bribe? Like, we need the bribe for the hospital. Like, you're accepting the bribe. And so then the guy's like sitting there with the onion sack and he's like, so am I kidnapping you or are we doing the bribe? And it's just like very, they're both very honest about everything that they say to each other. Like they're not trying to um manipulate each other, they just say what's on their mind and stuff. And she's very clear about she hopes that he dies, but she's like, I am going to try to help you, but I do hope I do not succeed. And stuff like that. So it's like, it's very funny to have like these two very stubborn characters that are like open and honest with each other about how he's like, yeah, if I could kill you I would, because like you're so annoying. And she's like, yeah, well, you know, it's like mutual, but you know.
This sounds like it would make a great anime.
It probably, it would. It would.
It feels like it has the same kind of vibe as what's that school one where they're both trying to like get each other to admit that they're in love?
Yeah.
Love is War.
Yes, it feels like it has that kind of vibe.
Yeah. I have, it's like, and it's really funny because um the people who suggested she can heal him is because she did like this thesis paper in school about like archaic healing of like the moon cycles and stuff like that. She's like, that has no science to it. I was just like looking into like stories of miracles and stuff and like maybe making a thesis on some of that. But she's like, but I threw that out because it was dumb. And he's like, well, we're doing it. And she's like, okay, but like it's not gonna work. So she's like, we can do it. Give us the money and I'll take you to a full moon. I don't know what to tell you. And so it's very interesting. I'm excited to keep reading it. So it makes me look forward to walk time.
I love that. That's awesome. It sounds hilarious. I really want them to make that into an anime. You should make that into an anime. That would be awesome.
I might do like little bits, like little animatic bits to it because it's pretty funny. I like
that.
It.
Would be awesome. I love that. I love that idea. That's incredible. Oh, what's your rating?
So far, I'd say it's a 9, only because I drop it down just because the magic system is really hard for me to wrap my mind around. But awesome. They have like tattoos, but I'm not sure if they're like born with their magic or if the tattoos is what gives them the magic. But then they have like this thing that's called like Seath channels, which is like where their magic or their power comes from, but it's not very clear how this magic works or what the magic system really is, other than like we know his magic helps him with his murdering, but I don't know exactly how his magic is helping him murder people. And then, but her magic is to help people, heal people, and it makes more sense of like how her magic works. But there's all these other different types of and like they have like these marks on their palms and stuff to show what like who they belong to. And I'm like, could he heal, or if he doesn't have the right mark on his hand? So it's like I'm confused about how the whole Seath things works.
Could a tattooist just be like, and then all of a sudden you can heal? But
Yeah. So that's what I'm like. I don't know if they're born with it. I don't know if they actually like get it tattooed or whatever, like receive their mark or what. Um, so, and it might tell me later on, but honestly, I'm like, this is like very confusing for what I feel like the plot should be. Like, I don't think that this magic system needs to be this integral for what the actual plot is focused on,
that
or what
makes
I
sense.
think it is. So,
It, like doesn't match up super perfectly.
yeah, because I know it is, it's another fanfic that has been readapted. So they're like trying
Oh,
to switch the magic systems to make it like fit, but not make it totally different. And so that's the only thing that I see not translating well. So
okay.
9. I'm really enjoying it.
Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to go through my last two topics really quick. They're really short things. But Invincible 4, season 4 is back. I'm super pumped. First 3 episodes were great. I love the I have you watched it, Josh? I love the idea of how far can you go before you snap and what happens when you snap when you're the most powerful person in the world. And that's all I'm going to say. But what they're doing with that is super interesting. And the last episode was not what I expected. And then the other thing is Frieren, season 2, which I'm a little bit more like about, because Frieren is really cool. I love the idea of like making nostalgia a show. Like that's really what Frieren is, and it's done in a very unique way. But I don't know how long nostalgia as a show can last because I've watched 4 episodes of season 2 or something like that, and I'm like, I get it. I get it. I got the first season. We can move on to the story now because we don't need to be nostalgia every episode. And for some reason, the magic that really worked for me in season 1 isn't working as well this time because I'm kind of like, yeah, I get it. Get it.
We got the message.
Hopefully that changes. But it's just like, yeah.
Mm.
Do you think they can keep doing the nostalgia thing for a long time, or does it have to fade?
I I feel like it's kind of the same thing that with me with the Rings of Power, where I felt like they were trying to replicate the Lord of the Rings series, where they're like, oh, we have to have the hobbits say inspirational stuff all the time. Where I was like, they're not, like the hobbits don't say inspirational stuff all the time. Like Sam has his moments where he does say inspirational stuff, but they were making these like characters have like monologues every 2 seconds. And I was like, you're trying to capture like that meaningful message that Sam doesn't do all the time. Like he only has, I think he has like a monologue per movie.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. And but it's sparingly and done correctly. Whereas like in this other one, it's like they have to have this meaning and be deep all the time. And it's like that doesn't work. That doesn't work. And then like the same with like Galadriel, they're like close up on her eye all the time to remind you of that time we did that in Lord of the Rings. And so it's like I think you can beat nostalgia to death. Like you need to do nostalgia in sparingly and in like important bits.
Yeah, that's kind of what I think too.
Yeah.
But I'll keep watching the show. Have you watched any of it, Josh? Okay, I'd be curious what you think when you do watch it because it's not bad. Like, still good. It's just kind of I don't know. It's kind of being drawn out for me.
I don't
Anyway,
think that it is nostalgia as a show, at least to me. So
okay.
I don't know what they're doing in season 2. Um, but if it is just becoming that, and then I don't see that lasting a long time.
Okay. Hopefully I mean, it's only 4 episodes and they're only 20 minutes long or whatever. I don't know. I have some hopes. All right, with that, let's go. We're doing 2 shared topics this week, guys, because we missed one our last episode. So let's start with This Means War. And out of everybody's notes, Lauren, like I gotta hear what you gotta say.
So we chose this topic because I talked about night and day, and they're like, "Oh, this is like night and day. This is not like night and day." Like, not how I would categorize night and day. Technically, I guess you could say it is like night and day, um, because it is these two agents that bring in a person into.
She's like, they're both movies. Yeah, they're like basically the same thing.
Yeah, so it really I really did not like the like I like Reese Witherspoon. That's the character of, and I was mad that her name was my name. Her name was Lauren. I was like, dang it, no. I hardly ever get the main girl's name to be Lauren, and it has to be her.
You didn't like her?
I don't like her. Um,
Okay.
because like I did kind of find it funny, like her her girlfriend or her sister or whatever, uh, who's horrible, by the
Yeah.
way. I did find it funny, like their conversations when she's like, "Yeah, just go for it, just go for it." And at the end, when she's like, "Oh my gosh, what should I do?" She's like, "I told you not to go for it." I was like, "Oh my gosh!" I'm like, I've been there. I'm like listening to everybody's like um advice,
Drama.
and then when I actually follow through with their advice and then something goes wrong, they're like, wasn't me. And I was like, I did exactly what you said. But yeah, I it drove me nuts because she doesn't end up with Tom Hardy, and he's obviously the best choice of the two. I hate Chris Pine's character. um and like I know that they're like, oh, you get to get back with your wife, but I wasn't happy with that either. Like, yay for the kid, I guess. Maybe, I don't know. 'Cause it made me mad that she's like, "Oh, well, I saw that you're actually not just a travel agent on TV, so I guess we can like restart our relationship." And it's like, anyway.
Just because you don't have a boring job, I like you again.
Well, because like a lot of it was because like she didn't like the lies and stuff, and it's like, oh, so now you caught him in what his lie was, and now it's okay.
Mm.
And so I'm like, that's yeah, also going to be confusing for the kid too. I don't know. It was like I kind of like the idea of her being like, when she does find out and she comes to him and she's like reintroduces herself. I liked that scene. I thought that was cute. Um, so that she's like, let's actually get to know each other. So I was kind of okay with that. But
Kind of.
the fact that she just like flipped because of what she saw on TV that one time, and it's like, and then I was like, I feel like you guys just did that so that you'd be okay with Chris Pine getting the girl. And I knew he was gonna get her, and it made me so mad.
Why
But
didn't you
yeah.
like him as the
And then I
character?
also hated. Why didn't I like Chris Pine?
Chris Pine.
He was definitely like just a playboy, and like he was always trying to underhand uh Tom Hardy's character, and like Tom Hardy did start underhanding him, but he kind of started the underhandedness. And then like at the end when he's like, "Oh yeah, just so you know, like I slept with your wife or whatever." And then Tom Hardy's like, "I never slept with Lauren. Like what the heck?" I hated that part. I was like, "You didn't need to add that into the movie." Anyway, so I'm this is a 3 for me.
Oh, whoa, way low.
I just like, oh, I didn't like. Nobody was good for anybody. Like she chose wrong. They chose wrong. She should just. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay. That's good. I didn't think it'd be that low. That is crazy to me. I actually kind of agree though, but I not as
It's
extreme as you
strongly.
are. Um, I liked this less than I liked it before, but I still had a really good time. Like it was a very funny movie to me. I actually do like both characters, but as I was watching it, I was like, Chris Pine's character has not been real with her pretty much at all. I mean, he has the real family moment with her, but that's about it. Otherwise, he's just pretending to like things that he doesn't really like, and this relationship is going nowhere. And I've never thought that before. I'm just a more developed person because of you guys. Crazy thinking about
Good.
relationships and whole new level. But yeah, he's not real the entire time, which is a shame. I think that maybe they could work out. Maybe there's a flip of a coin, but he would probably have to be inauthentic because he's already said like I love puppies. Whatever, doesn't really love puppies. I thought that was a problem, and I do think Tom Hardy's character is just better for her. I didn't have
Mhm.
a problem with him getting back with his wife, but I can actually see your point, Lauren, where it's like she's kind of a bitch,
Yeah, that's
and their relationship would have been really good with him and Reese Witherspoon's character. Like it's a good relationship. I love the paintball part. I think the paintball part is awesome. I think it's a very fun, entertaining movie. The way the guys fight is a little bit chicky, but I don't really care. I had a good time with it. Um, I still had an enjoyable time, but this would have been like an 8 for me, and it dropped down to a 7. Like it was a fairly decent drop for me. All right, Josh.
All right, I've got something very rare to say. I don't think I've said it
Yeah.
before. Lauren, you're wrong. Um, when I was watching this,
how
I
dare.
actually was like, I completely disagree with what you're saying. The idea that Tom Hardy's character is better for Reese Witherspoon is insane to me. It is actually insane.
Wow.
Like you guys have just been talking about how Chris Pine's character hasn't been genuine and you know and she's been lying to her about who he is and all this kinds of stuff. Are we not seeing those same attributes in Tom Hardy's character? He lies to her. He breaks her trust. He breaks the trust of Chris Pine's character 3 times before Chris Pine retaliates. That to me is the most egregious thing, is that like they agree to be respectful in going after this girl. And Tom Hardy breaks the trust, breaks the trust, breaks the trust. Like, who are we talking about who has actual honor and integrity in this one? Neither of them, but certainly not Tom Hardy's character. Not being genuine with her? Was he ever one time genuine with her? No. He took his spy technology, heard what she said, misinterpreted it, and took it to level at 10 every single time. He hired a fake family. He did the paintball thing because he thought, oh, she wants somebody masculine. So I'm going to go balls off the walls insane during paintball. Meanwhile, Chris Pine, at least my interpretation of the show, is he does lie to her, but in every single one of those, he has genuine moments with her. Right? He does the painting thing, but then Tom Hardy breaks the trust, and instead of going with the lie, he shows a little bit of vulnerability and then a little bit more vulnerability. And then the family happens and there's a lot of vulnerability. And you see the trope that I absolutely love in pretty guy or pretty girl is more than just ditzy pretty guy, pretty girl, right? Um, and you see the layers. You see that Chris Pine's been wearing a mask this whole time, and she brings out a little bit more real him. And she's been wearing a little bit of a mask a lot, and he brings out a little bit more real her. Um, I think all of the options are terrible options, right? Like none of these people are honest. None of them are. Reese Witherspoon is a horrible person. Her friend is even worse. Tom Hardy and Chris Pine both break trust. They're both dishonorable, dishonest people, right? But of the two, if those are the only two options for Reese Witherspoon in the world, you have zero integrity, zero honesty, zero honor, and minuscule amounts in Chris Pine's character. And it's like I definitely feel the like they it's not a very good movie. They're definitely trying to like rationalize Chris Pine throughout the movie, and you definitely feel that because like I feel like on the surface of it, you go, "Oh, Tom Hardy's a dad. He's got an accent. He's Tom Hardy," so he's the like more obvious choice. So you have to humanize him, but like, uh, I just I think Chris Pine was the more correct choice um, in this bad movie. Let's be honest, it's a bad movie.
When the car's like tumbling towards her and they're like, come to me, or whatever, I wanted her to just jump off the bridge.
I kind of wanted her to. Is I actually thought she was just gonna duck and the car was gonna flip over her. And
Mm-hmm.
also, that's just an insane thing to do. Instead of like tackling her out of the way, they just sit there and treat her like she's a dog. Come to me, come to me. Like, yeah. I actually confused this show when we were talking about it with Bounty Hunter, which has Jennifer Aniston and Gerard Butler in it. Um, so I rewatched that one too. This one is easily the worst, and I think Night and Day is just very clearly the best. There is something special about it. Mr. and Mrs. Smith, I'd have to rewatch, but I'd probably put it second.
I didn't like Mr. and Mrs. Smith. I've only seen it once, but everybody seemed to like it when it came out, and I didn't get it like at all.
There's two versions of Mr. and Mrs. Smith, right?
I have no idea. I haven't seen it in like a decade or more.
Yeah, because there's a Brad Pitt, Angelina Jolie, and then I think they've redone it since.
I have no idea.
But
and then the Bounty Hunter, I've only seen it once too, but it felt very mediocre to me.
It is mediocre. I would give Bounty Hunter like a 6. I would give this one like a 3. I would give Night and Day.
Wow, I'm like the glowing review person. Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Well, it's just hard.
What was
I don't like this one because I feel like there are no good options. And our main character that we're supposed to root for in Reese Witherspoon, I sit there and I go, why would Tom Hardy even bother when you have that gorgeous woman and all you have to do is be honest with her? Like, if I had to choose between Tom Hardy's wife, I don't even know the actress's name, and Reese Witherspoon, not even close.
Tom Hardy's
not wife. Even close.
Easy. Reese Witherspoon's she's pretty, but Tom Hardy's wife is pretty.
So yeah, that's what I think really tears it down. I think this could have been good had there been something to root for. But when I'm sitting there and I'm like, you all deserve to die alone. It's just it makes for not a really compelling thing because I don't root for anybody.
So I was wrong.
You were wrong about choosing Tom Hardy over Chris Pine. You were right about the overall rating of the show.
Interesting. Okay. All right, let's go to our next one. And honestly, Josh, I'll just keep you running because I am very interested in your thoughts about this movie.
So the movie is Truth and Treason. I believe Lauren is the one who brought this up to us. I had never heard about this movie before. Oh,
it was me.
Conley. Okay. I had never even didn't know it existed, and that's fine. It's about a Nazi LDS member who, during World War II, because of his teachings in the LDS Church, decides to speak out against the Nazi regime. He gets caught. he gets tortured, he gets sentenced to death for treason. Um, and it's a hard watch, especially I think for the three of us, because we all have Mormon ties, either in our past or currently, and it's very hard to see something you're attached to, like the leader of the LDS Church in Germany was very much part of the Nazi regime and sold the kid out and was a member of the SS and like did awful things, all in the name of following the local laws. um, so in that aspect where you have this like personal attachment to it, it is kind of hard to see. But it did make me like research the actual like connection between the LDS Church and the Nazis during World War II, and a little bit more into the history of the actual movie. The movie itself turns out is to be pretty accurate. I think they did a really good job with this movie. I think it's a visually stunning movie, even though there's not a lot to show or display to be like, look, pretty. It's not like the Sound of Music where they're like, look at all these pretty mountains. It's like inside of building A, inside of building B, but it is still like very well shot. The lighting, the music, the actors all did a very good job. Um, our romance between our main character and the main girl is very believable in how men and women react with each other. So I really enjoyed that part. Um, I love the friendship between our main character and the other friends. Um, I don't like that we didn't get to see what happened to Solomon. It's talked about, it is mentioned, and they do like an end credits like this is what happened to him, but we never actually see what happened to Solomon. And I think that would have been fundamentally better to have seen his fate so that we really understand our main character a little bit more. Um, really good. No notes. It did what it wanted to do. It was hard to watch. They did a good job with it. I would recommend people watch it. Um, it's just good.
All right, Lauren. What's your rating?
I'm gonna give it like a 7, just because I don't think I will rewatch this one. It is one I could recommend to a history fan or maybe somebody interested in like obscure LDS history. Um, but it's not like, I think the shining moment of the show is when he's sentenced to death and he says, I have done nothing wrong, therefore I'm not afraid to die. The judge will be judged. I think that monologue he gives is easily the best part about the movie.
All right, Lauren. What about you?
Yeah, so I would say like not hard to watch, but haunting is how I would put it for me. Um, like I did a little like after I watched it, I did read somebody else's review and they had done a little bit of research into it and they had mentioned that he was actually excommunicated. And then after World War II, he was reinstated, which I was glad to hear because like it's so hard and like Josh mentioned, like we all have ties to this religion and it's really hard when you're trying to follow what your beliefs are when you have leaders who are not um, who are not following what you should be the principles. um, and then there's like especially this part where like they're singing this hymn and it says do what is right, let the consequence follow, and he's like this is what I know to be right, that it says that the Lord is just and true, and he's like I need to do this because this is what's right, the consequences will follow. So um he was 16, this kid, he was 16 and he was the youngest person to be actually tried and executed by the Nazis. Uh, and yeah, the very ending is haunting, and it doesn't show him getting beheaded, but it shows that he did get beheaded. Um, it was like very haunting, and like very thought provoking of like what you'll do for like, your standards and what you believe in, and um, yeah, it's a haunting movie, and I actually like. Would I watch it again? Probably not. But I agree with Josh with that it was beautifully done. Acting was great. I actually would rate it as an 8. I won't watch it again, but I think it was very impactful.
Cool. Very cool. I so this is a movie that I kind of compare to our viewing of North by Northwest, where it had everything required to be a great movie, but for some reason I got extremely bored watching this and I had a really hard time getting through it. With a couple of really good moments. There's the part where the bishop is talking and he goes through the we believe in being subject to kings, presidents, rulers, magistrates, and obeying and honoring and sustaining the law. And Hitler was the law at the time. So do you follow that? And our main character has to go through this inner search for like who was Christ. And he has the line where he goes, Christ was a rebel. He went against the popular governments at the time. That's part of the reason why he was put to death. And this kid is then put to death. It's a signal for what happens later in the movie, and that is fantastic. And there's these little moments in the movie that really are really good. Very interesting for somebody who did grow up LDS, and like, what would you do in that point of view? Because yeah, that's an article of faith. We believe that that came from God. Or do we get to pick and choose what comes from God and when to listen to God, or do we not? And I liked that aspect of the movie. It was super interesting to me. I think the acting is really good. I think the relationships are good. I think the cinematography is good. I think the music is good. I think a lot of it is really good. And honestly, it probably deserves like an 8. But it took me 3 times to watch this movie. I literally, the first time I fell asleep. The second time it was 5 p.m. and I fell asleep. And then I had to watch it again. And I can't give it that high of a rating because I just struggled hard to get through this movie. And I'm going to give it like a 6.5. Probably deserves more than that for real. But man, I could not get through this. It doesn't mean I don't recommend it to people. If it interests you, if what we've said interests you, give it a try for real. I think it was a me thing, but I struggled. I was on the struggle bus for this movie.
Oh, you would probably hate this. They have the extended edition out as a mini series.
Really
Yeah.
interesting.
So if you
Do
want
we,
a lot of content to fall asleep to, there you go.
there we go. Are either of you tempted to watch that at all?
I don't think so. Um, I think I got the message I feel like I needed from the movie. Is yeah, I don't need to be haunted.
What about you, Josh?
The same. This isn't like Project Hail Mary at all. I feel like the movie was perfectly adequate in communicating the story, and I didn't need any more details. Like, I'm sure that there's more to it, but between watching the movie and doing the research and, you know, everything that I did outside of the movie, I'm good. And like I said, it's a pretty good movie. It's not exceptional. This isn't a like Dunkirk. This isn't a, you know, really impactful, important historical thing, right? This is something that happened and it's tragic, but it's
And
not
it's interesting enough.
important or
I think like the reason why it was so impactful to me was because I have had like leaders try to use gospel and stuff to manipulate me in some things, and so to like fit their view of things.
I just
Yeah.
want to clarify. When I say important, I mean in the historical context. Like it didn't
Ah.
inspire some like great movement. He didn't influence a ton of people. It is something that happened historically. It's
Story that
another
happened live.
part of the World War II Hitler regime. It like
Mhm.
the personal message is very relatable and important, and everybody gets different things. But I was simply talking about the
Yeah.
historical context.
Yeah, and yeah, I understand that. There was I was just saying that like the reason why I put it up so high is because of um I think it is interesting for people to watch regardless of the historical content. Um and I think a lot of LDS people should watch this because of not the historical content, but um how this person did their research and found their own personal, um, not own personal belief, but like they sought it out for themselves and they didn't
Yeah.
just blindly follow. So that's why I thought that this movie was more important um, to me and to why I think other people should watch it.
I like that a lot, Lauren. Something I was gonna say and I didn't really bring up, but I really appreciated that this is a movie where they could have just could have just made the church look really bad. Honestly, they could have done that. And I didn't feel like they went either way. And a lot of times with LDS movies, they either get super, super preachy and to the point where even LDS members are kind of like, oh, come on, I get it. And they do that with a lot of Christian movies. Or they do the opposite where they get super hateful and they bring up all the negatives. And I felt like this was a really balanced view where it's not all positive, it's not all negative, it's human. And
Yeah,
I appreciated that a lot because that's a very, very rare thing to do with movies
hmm
that
I
deal with religion.
I appreciate that a lot with this movie too, and it's why I've rated it so high.
Cool. I think Lauren's rating is solid. I would have it higher rated if I just
If you could stay awake.
just stay awake. Anyway, guys, that's going to be our episode. We appreciate you watching. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. See you next time. Bye.